You know, I have been accused of being a Bruce Lee fanboy by several people on my channel because of my defense of Bruce Lee's ability, his skill, his contributions to the martial arts. And you know, I don't mind being called a fanboy, whatever that means. It doesn't faze me, and I think it's pretty juvenile. The individuals that make those statements shows a lack of intelligence in my eyes, in my mind. So I want to make a declaration. I'm going to go against what I've done and said in time past, and I was trying to appease some people in the audience, and maybe I should have not done that the way in which I did. But I made the statement that Bruce Lee was the greatest martial artist of our time. And I also followed that statement by saying that there were other people who were as good as Bruce Lee or even better during the time that he lived. And that is true. There were other martial artists that were as good as Bruce Lee or even better. They just never went public. And when I say this, I'm not talking about your average Joe that you would see in a dojo or a kung fu school, jiu-jitsu school, or participating in a martial arts tournament competition. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the people that you never saw in the media. The people that trained independent, away from the general public, away from the media. Those individuals only are the ones that I'm referring to. I'm talking about some of the masters who have been in the martial arts for almost all their lives in Asia, more specifically China. Now, with that said, after all of this backlash and all of this name calling, just because I'm defending, according to some people, a legend, and he was, there are many legends in the martial arts, as there are in any other field. But Bruce Lee truly was one of those legends in the martial arts. But after me defending him, now I don't have any credentials to just go out there and say, well, I'm the official Bruce Lee defense person or attorney. I'm not. I've never attempted to claim that position. I would defend anyone who is being abused or demeaned, no matter what the profession or the vocation is. It doesn't matter. It just so happens that it was Bruce Lee, and he's not the only one that I've defended, but we're talking about him right now. So for all of the people that were so vehemently against me making the statement that Bruce Lee was not simply an actor, he was a great martial artist. Some of those people also said that he was overrated. He was not as good as people said that he was, and that he never won a championship. But they wanted to continue to compare him to sport karate people, sport martial arts people. And again, the reason he never participated in sport is because he was not training for sport. He was training for real life. So now, here's my declaration today. I'm pulling the gloves off, and I'm just going to make this plain and simple. Bruce Lee was the greatest martial artist on the planet Earth that we have known, bar none. He was the greatest martial artist that we have ever known. Now, just because the other people didn't come to the surface, shame on them. Just because the other people that existed around his time that were better than or good as him and didn't want the recognition and just wanted to train in secret, Shame on them, and good for them if that's not something they wanted to do. But because Bruce Lee did reveal himself, despite people from his own culture and country who didn't want him to reveal the martial arts from their country or culture to the Western world, he did it anyway. And what happened, which was positive, was that he broke down a divider between the East and the West that had been there for hundreds of years. He made martial arts systems and styles popular throughout the world. He got everyone interested in martial arts across the world. He was an icon to many, a mentor to many others, an idol to many because of the diligence and the dedication that he put into his craft. And we all got to see it on film. We got to witness it. For those who actually met him, which I was not one of them, but he was my mentor, he was my inspiration. But he has opened the way for martial artists forever. He is the only martial arts master that has ever done that. Had it not been for the great late Bruce Lee, Jun Fan, Lee Sao Lung, had it not been for him coming to the surface, martial arts today would not be as relevant as it is today. There would be no UFC. There would be no pride fights. There would be no mixed martial arts schools all over the planet as we see them today. And there would not be as many martial arts practitioners across the globe as there is today. Bruce Lee was the catalyst that got it all going. Martial arts pictures, motion pictures, were popular in Asia. Bruce Lee made martial arts pictures popular all over the world. And they continue to film martial arts pictures all over the world. They are distributed all over the world. They are sold all over the world. Had it not been for Bruce Lee coming to the surface again during the time in which he lived, it would not be what it has become. So, who else has done this? Who else has made martial arts what it is in the world? Not just in the United States, not just in Asia, but the entire world. Who else is responsible for its popularity throughout the planet? You name that person, and you would be lying if you said that it was anyone other than Bruce Lee. So yes, he was the greatest martial artist of our time. And I'm not taking it back. What do you think?